Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Coach Brian. Welcome back to the Hall of Gains. And it was just Halloween last night. This will be uploaded tomorrow. So Halloween will have been 2 days ago by the time this video's been uploaded. So I've done videos on this sort of topic in the past when it comes to weight gain. What is that really? When in reality, what people care about in general is fat gain or fat loss, and how water retention and water weight can completely sway of what you think you actually weigh. Um, the reason why I want to do this video is because over Halloween I did a little bit of a cheat on my diet. I had a lot more carbs than normal. I drink a lot more fluids, and when I wake up today, I weighed 229.4 pounds when the day prior I weighed 226.6 pounds. That means, according to the scale, I gained 2.8 pounds in just one day, nearly 3 pounds in one day. And now the reason why I want to make this video again, even though I've made articles on this topic, I've made other videos in the past, but the thing is, this is still entirely relevant. I train clients every day. I tell them about how weight loss and weight gain works when it comes to the law of thermodynamics, and it comes down to calories in versus calories out. And they don't understand how much water weight and water retention plays a huge factor in your weight and your overall weight and weight gain day to day to day. So, and also, I think I'm just going to do a new video on this topic every single time there's a holiday. So, Halloween, people tend to eat more. They eat a lot of candy on that day, so they might have an increased weight the next day. Halloween's like Thanksgiving and Christmas. I am probably going to plan on doing that as well as also Easter. And I'm just going to do kind of a new video on the same topic every time just because I know people are talking about it more. They're going to look up online like, oh, did I really gain 3 pounds last night because I ate a bunch of candy on Halloween? Well, I'm going to go through, does this happen to me? I gained 3 pounds, but what does this actually mean? Did I actually put on 3 pounds of fat? Or did I just put on 3 pounds of water weight? Or what exactly happened here? Was it a mixture? Did I put on some muscle? And so I want to go over that. So, like I said, I was 226.6 pounds of weight on Friday or Saturday morning. And then this morning, Sunday morning, I weighed 229.4. That's a 2.8 pound difference. So I gained 2.8 pounds in one day. But this is not all fat. In fact, let's go over what a pound of fat is. So, a pound of fat is 3,500 calories of energy. And so that would mean I need to have essentially been in a 9,800 calorie surplus in that one day of eating Halloween candy and eating pizza and, drinking a bit of alcohol. So, what that means is I would need to eat 3,800 calories because that's 2.8 pounds. So do 3,500 times 2.8, and it's like 9,800. But that's a 9,800 calorie surplus. So that's not just eating 9,800 calories in a day. I burn. So I do my Apple Watch. They're decently accurate. So I checked that day. It said I burnt 4,500 calories because I did an hour walk in the morning. I did a good weight training session in the afternoon, and then I did another 30 minutes of cardio after that. I was also pretty active throughout the day because I trained a few clients, and then at the party I was standing up, walking around, talking to people. So I burnt about 4,500 calories, but let's say it's a 10% off. So let's say I really burn about 4,100, 4,000 calories, and I generally eat 3,000 calories a day. But last night I ate 3,700, so that was a bit of my cheat. So I ate 700 more calories worth of food. A lot of it was candy, pizza, and then a little bit of alcohol. What I did is I just ate less in the morning and at lunch so that I could eat even more at night of the unhealthy food. But let's kind of go through this. So, did I gain fat? Let's talk about how just the impossibility of gaining 2.8 pounds of fat in one night. So, 2.8 pounds of fat. That one, like I said, if I even just only burnt 4,000 calories, assuming a 10% margin of error, that means that I would add that to the 9,800 calories needed in a surplus, and that would mean that I needed to have eaten 13,800 calories worth of food yesterday. And do you know what 13,800 calories worth of food is? That's 24 Big Macs from McDonald's. So that means if I had 4 meals, or no, if I had 5 meals and almost 5 Big Macs per meal, that's how much I would need to have eaten to actually gain 2.8 pounds of fat. Okay, well, maybe this is maybe a little bit of fat gain, some water weight, and some muscle. Well, when it comes to muscle, for me, I'm past the newbie gain stage, so would maybe be lucky to gain a half pound of muscle per month. I'm also in a deficit, which means it's going to be even less than that, so maybe a quarter to a third of a pound of muscle per month if I'm lucky. So if that's a quarter to a third of a pound of muscle per month, divide that by 30, it's going to be such a small fraction of weight that it's not really going to even be detectable by the scale that only weighs in tenths of pounds. So that's not going to be any sort of a factor when it comes to the muscle gain for me. And especially it's going to be for anybody. Even if you have absolutely god tier genetics and you're on a bunch of performance enhancing drugs, you're not gaining a pound of muscle in a day. So it's not going to really have a huge factor on the scale. And then when it comes to water retention or fat, let's get into that. So I did track my diet, and I weigh my food, I scale my food, I scan it, I portion it all out. So this is a fairly accurate measure, and I use a diet tracking app to track it. So yesterday I had 3,700 calories worth of food, and I burnt about 4,000 calories throughout the day. So what does this mean? This means I was still in a 300 calorie deficit. This means that I didn't put on a single bit of fat. That means I burnt 300 calories worth of fat, which means I burnt a bit less than a tenth of pound of fat yesterday. So I didn't gain any fat. The scale is all water weight. So I can go again and why I am weighing more. Well, for one, I'm on creatine. I have creatine essentially every day. And that's the thing, is ever since I've been on creatine since this summer, my weight has been way harder to track. I have way bigger swings of up or downs for my water retention, how much I weigh. I've literally had over 10 pound swings from one day to the next just because of water retention. Creatine, I remember looking up the average number for a average sized person is they can get 2 to 4 pounds of added water weight when they're on creatine, and I'm much bigger than the average person, so it's going to have a much bigger than a 2 to 4 pound swing for water retention. And so that's kind of what happens to me. So it's hard to track my weight now because I'm on creatine. But so one, it's creatine. And then also I drank a lot of extra fluids last night because, well, I drank a little bit of alcohol. And so that made me thirsty because alcohol dehydrates you. So I drink way more water to compensate for that. And then I also had a bunch of diet sodas, even more than normal, just because even though I was kind of cheating a bit last night, I still wanted to drink diet soda so that I could just actually eat, good tasting food and not just drink sodas because that's just wasted calories in my opinion, when I could just drink a diet soda that tastes 90% as good and it's not going to give me any calories. So I burnt 300 calories yesterday. That means none of the weight I actually gained was fat. That means that all of the weight I gained was that little probably tiny fraction of muscle, and then also all water retention. So this actually all goes to also. So I'm on creatine, which means I'm going to have more water retention, and almost all the extra calories I had yesterday were from carbs because I had a lot of candy. Candy is full of carbs. Carbs can have up to 3 to 4 grams of extra water retention per gram of carb. So that means I drank way more, and then I had more carbs, and I'm on creatine. So that means I can have these massive weight swings. So I went from 226.6 to 229.4 in one night, all because of water retention. I actually didn't gain a single ounce of fat because, I was active yesterday. Like I said, I did an hour walk in the morning. I trained a few clients, and I'm a personal trainer, so it's a pretty active job. I'm walking around the gym, changing weights all the time, picking up the dumbbells for them, bringing them over, doing all that. So I actually have a pretty active job. Then after I trained a few clients, I did my own workout, and I did a back and bicep day, and then I did another 30 minutes of cardio, and then I was active all night because I was at a party, going around, talking to people, talking to friends, getting up, walking around, all of that. So yeah, I was pretty active, and so yeah, I still didn't gain a single ounce of fat, even though I ate way more than normal. So you might eat way more than normal on your diet, and you still might not even gain any fat just because you were already in a pretty big calorie deficit. Now, let's say if you were in a smaller deficit and you were only on a 500 calorie deficit and you ate 700 more like I did, you'd only be in a 200 calorie surplus. That's not even a tenth of a pound of fat you gained in one day. So it's nothing to worry about at all. It's more so if you kept that even consistently at an even higher surplus over several weeks, then you start gaining some pounds of fat. Yeah, this is a topic I've already covered, but it's so important it needs to be covered again because even though I tell clients over and over again, they still fail to understand it because the scale is like the end-all be-all for a lot of people. And it is actually kind of hard to track your progression. Like, on creatine, I had to really analyze myself and like to also get opinions from other people because basically, even though I kept my deficit, and on this diet tracking app, you essentially, every time you lose a pound, it takes away like 10 calories from your diet, just so you are always losing less and less and less. Because the more you lose, the harder it is to lose because then the less calories you burn. So basically, I was like really stagnant when it came to weight loss because of creatine. Because that's like the instant I added creatine in my diet, because I wanted the extra workout harder. It's good for muscle, especially if you're cutting. My weight became extremely hard to track. I believe when I started, I was 239, and then I went to like 244 the next day, 248, and it's been like a slow climb, and it's always going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That's why I have to track every single day. I write down my notes just because it just sometimes makes absolutely no sense of why. But then it's also looking at myself, and I can see, okay, my abs are coming in more, my chest is getting more defined, my traps are getting more defined, just all around better muscle definition. Even if I'm gaining weight, it's because it's all water weight, and it's just no possible way that a guy of my size who does an hour of cardio in the morning, and then I train clients during the day, so I have an active job. Then I go to the gym and I do an hour and 20-minute workout of lifting weights, and then I do about 40 minutes of cardio again. And so it makes no sense for me to be eating only 3,000 calories and only like maybe losing or sometimes even gaining weight. It's just because it's water retention, especially if you're on creatine like me, and then I'm also eating a bit more carbs. So yeah, just don't worry. It's not a big deal if you gain weight. And remember, if you gain several pounds in one day, it's not food. It's not because you put on fat from food. You put on water weight. You'd have to eat a ridiculous amount to actually put on weight. Like, you'd be sick. Like 2.8 pounds, like I said, that's 24 Big Macs in a day. That's like eating 14 large blizzards from Dairy Queen. It's nuts. It's just people can't do it. Like, I think it was Brian Shaw posted his diet on YouTube for a day. It's like a 10,000 calorie diet. Most people are gonna struggle to eat, half that to 60% of that. And that is only 10,000 calories. You have to eat 14,000 calories for this. So you didn't put on 2.8 pounds of fat in one day. You just simply didn't. So stop worrying. Just get back on track. Now you have a few weeks before Thanksgiving, and I would suggest to actually have a bit of a cheat day on Thanksgiving because cheat days are good. It's good for keeping dietary adherence because sometimes the more strict your diet is, the harder it is to follow it. So you have a few weeks for Thanksgiving. So just stick to a strict diet for a few weeks that you can follow, then do a cut on a cheat day on Thanksgiving, and then you'll have about a month, and then it'll be Christmas, and you're probably going to do it again. And so yeah, you just have to have cheat days once in a while. It's completely fine to do. I used to do it every 3 weeks. Now I'm going to start doing it maybe once every 10 days for a cheat day. Don't necessarily know how I'm going to do it, but just also I'm starting to make my diet a bit easier. For example, I'm taking out about 250 calories worth of cardio a day and adding in 250 calories worth of food per day. So I'm reducing my calorie deficit by 500 because I'm just so tired. I can barely handle it anymore being on this diet. So even though it's going to massively reduce my fat loss, it'll probably about cut it in half, if not more. It's going to improve my musculature growth and just having more energy throughout the day. And it's going to reduce my risk of injury. So that being said, yeah, guys, you're fine. You didn't put on a bunch of weight on Halloween. You just didn't. You don't put on a bunch of weight from one night or even one weekend. But everybody, so I just want to butt in and post recording and editing for this video. So I just basically had some more statistics from my own weight to show how much water retention really is, and it's just nuts. So like I said in this video, I believe it was Saturday morning, I was 226.6, and then on Sunday morning I was 229.4. So then I record that video on Sunday, and then yesterday on Monday I was 232.8. So I gained another 3.5 pounds, despite still, I worked out on Sunday. I didn't eat that much. I definitely wasn't a caloric deficit, but I still gained 3.5 pounds. And then today, I weigh 228 pounds. So I lost 4.8 pounds from yesterday. And guys, I weigh myself the same time at same time of the day, every single day, same scale, and I do it after I go to the bathroom. So after I pee and get rid of the extra water weight. So this just shows how ridiculous water weight is. It makes it really hard to track, especially if you're on creatine. But even before I was on creatine, I would have this like all the time. So just realize, guys, I went from 226 pounds to essentially 233 pounds in 2 days. That is a 7-point swing. That's a lot. That can be really debilitating and can ruin your momentum. But you just gotta keep going and realize that it's water weight, it's water retention, and it's proven again by me yesterday losing almost 5 pounds. I went from 232.8 to 228. That's 4.8 pounds, almost 5 pounds in 1 day. So yeah, basically you do want to use the scale, but you're gonna get to a point, especially for creatine, where you just need to look at yourself in the mirror every day, and you'll notice gradual progression over several weeks. Usually it takes, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to actually see even gradual gains. You're not really going to see it day to day. Gains are really slow, especially when it comes like muscle growth. Fat loss you can see a bit differently because you will lose fat faster than you gain muscle. But yeah, I just want to add this in there because that just shows how even more ridiculous water retention is. So one day I gained 3 pounds, the other day I gained like 4 pounds, and then I lost almost 5 pounds in that span. So water retention is just crazy. Just want to put that in there. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Peace out. Don't forget you can hire me as a personal trainer down below. I'm also a nutrition coach. I can give a lot of nutrition advice. I have a bunch of diets that pretty much I use. I've lost almost 140 pounds in 2 years, and since New Year's I've lost 73 pounds now. It works quite well, and it's still tasty. There's at least one meal a day that I'm excited to eat because it tastes good. So it's like you can diet without it being terrible. But peace out, everybody.